voice.
Liberty with a Southern accent.
Perspective of conservative and libertarian views on local issues and news of the day.
With your host, Anthony Allen
and George Peterson. Taking it to the streets.
If you would like to participate in the show, please call us 504-556-9696. All right, I guess we're back on the air. George is remoting in. He's in, where you at, George? You made it to Birmingham yet?
I am. We're taking it to the streets, Anthony. We're doing it live. George Peterson here, signing in, checking in with y'all from the streets out here of the great southern part of America, our great country, our great nation. So glad to be in there tonight. Got a lot to cover today, Anthony. A lot of news that's happened this week.
Well, hang on a minute. Before you get to covering stuff, I got to ask you something. Since you went through Tuscaloosa, and that's where Nick Saban is, did you have your inoculations before you left and went up there? No, I didn't. I don't believe in forced or mandated vaccinations. You know. Okay, so y'all, I'm telling you, you need to stay away from George for about a week. And if y'all hear him saying "Roll Tide" just once, go ahead and shoot him. It's fine. It's a mercy killing. He'll understand. It'll be okay.
All righty. Well, we do have a lot to cover. I mean, we have some great news for our fans, our listeners, and our sponsors. Anthony, we're expanding the show. Anthony Allen's going to be expanding the Liberty with a Southern accent segment over to another market in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, it's going to be on WYAB. It's an FM station out of Jackson, and I think they got a translator in Vicksburg. It's 103.9. And if you've ever heard of the Kim Wade Show, which I don't know if he's that popular here in New Orleans, but he's also on there, and I did a show with him a couple of weeks ago, and they offered me the spot because Dennis Miller is getting off the air.
Well, and also we're Anthony and I are currently in negotiations with WGSO to expand to a second hour, so we'll be able to cover more local issues and news of the week. And we're really grateful to our sponsors and our listeners for helping us to expand our market segments like this. This is really great. Great news.
Absolutely. By the way, before we get started here, I just want to make a comment. We have a guest in the studio, and he has brought me this device here that's actually allowing me to enjoy my nicotine fix while sitting in the comfort of this of this studio.
You mean New Orleans hasn't banned that yet?
Well, you know what? I don't recall asking Mitch Landrieu's permission. Do you?
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to cover as far as local issues and news of the week, but we're going to catch that in the last half of the show because, like Anthony's saying, we have a couple of in-studio guests today. And why don't you go ahead and introduce everybody, Anthony?
All right. Well, just to let everybody know, it's going to get kind of confusing around here because my name's Anthony, our producer's name is Anthony, and our guest from Smoke Signals, his name is Anthony. Anthony, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Anthony Calisa. I'm the owner of Smoke Signals Electronic Cigarettes and also the media relations liaison for Louisiana Association of Electronic Cigarette Retailers. We've been dealing with City Hall and the City Council quite a bit here over the last couple of months.
All right, well, and that's I assume it's an uphill battle.
Well, I don't know if uphill is word enough for it. The council has been more than a little bit stubborn with their treatment of electronic cigarettes and lumping them in with traditional cigarettes without looking at any scientific data to dispel what they're doing.
Well, I can say as a smoker, and I've been a smoker since I was 12 years old, and I'm 30, so that's 18 years by my calculations.
Right, but Anthony,
you gave me this e-cigarette, and I will tell you that I don't really feel anything different other than, I was choking at first when I started smoking it because it's, as you said, liquid vapor. But it tastes it tastes pretty close to a Marlboro Red, and I actually like it. And I'm not coughing like I normally would be. And I've just started this thing just an hour ago.
Yep.
So I mean, I think you've sold me. And the other in studio person that we have, I don't know if he's going to get on the air or not. But I guess we'll just call him the show's supervisor for the day. Is Kelvin Smith, and he's a local author of a book. What's the name of your book, real quick, and I'll put it out there. The End of Prejudice.
Yeah,
It's about. So you should get you should get a microphone. That way, I'm not relaying.
We'll get him on there.
Okay, we'll get you on there at some point. You come on down.
Yeah, Kelvin is one of our fellow Occupy Howard Avenue friends, and Bullhorn George and Mississippi Anthony, South Liberty South Anthony, and Kelvin and I, and we all just came together, and now here we are taking it to the streets, and we're gonna take it pretty bad to New Orleans. I mean, Anthony from Smoke Signals. What is your whole take about this smoking ban? I mean, what do you think about how it came about, what they did? I mean, did they look at any empirical data, any scientific fact about secondhand smoke and how it affects people in businesses and such?
Kind of, I guess, is the best answer for that. The American Lung Association was the big pushing force behind this ban. The Times-Picayune did report on this, but they basically bullied the city and said that if the city did not pass a smoking ban, that they would pull their conventions from the city of New Orleans. So the city reacted quickly, and part of the American Lung Association stance was that electronic cigarettes should also be included in the ban. They cited a study from an association called ASHRAE, A-S-H-R-A-E, which is an air conditioning and heating association. They pulled data that showed that the secondhand effects of electronic cigarettes contain toxins and all these things that they showed in their report from their scientific data. If you check into what that data actually says, it says that it's all within the safe levels as set by the EPA and the United States Pharmacopoeia. So did they get data? Yes. Was the data flawed? Yes. Did they listen to legitimate data from reputable sources? They didn't. They chose not to pay any credit to that.
Okay, well, here's my question for you, Anthony. All these conventions that come to the city of New Orleans, and let's face it, everybody comes to New Orleans for a convention. You got Super Bowls, you got conventions for this or that. You're telling me that one convention actually bullied the city of New Orleans? Y'all ain't that hard up for revenue down here, are you?
No, and it's one convention that New Orleans is in a 4 or 5 year cycle with. So this isn't even a convention that's here every year. Whereas the electronic cigarette industry actually has tons of conventions going on, and a couple of the big players were looking to bring those conventions here. But now they're pulling out of that idea because the people who would be attending the conventions wouldn't be able to use the products anywhere publicly in the city.
Well, wouldn't you say that this was more or less that the city of New Orleans had, I guess, more or less a knee-jerk reaction of acting upon this without looking at the true empirical data and the financial or impact to the city and to the retailers here in the hotel and tourism industry here in the city? I mean, we've got one group every 4 or 5 years versus what could potentially be an annual thing with another group. And, not only that, but all the tax dollars of people who are avoiding New Orleans altogether because of its nanny state mentality of, trying to ban cigarette smoking, in public.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking about that before we came on the air. We, Harrah's is going to be impacted greatly by this. People who can't smoke at the casino aren't going to go to Harrah's. They're going to go to one of the other local casinos, or they're going to go out to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Once Harrah's starts losing money, the city of New Orleans starts losing money and the state of Louisiana starts losing money. I feel like once the state starts losing money, they're going to take notice of this ban and probably do something about it. The city council said that Harrah's would not lose money, that people would not go to their competition, which, let's say that's true. For every time somebody's sitting at a table and they have to get up to go and smoke a cigarette, they're up from the table. That's money that Harrah's is losing. That's money that the city and the state are losing.
And also, if I have to walk outside to smoke while I'm drinking a free beer, well, I don't know if y'all give out free alcohol or not. I know in Biloxi we do. But I don't feel right drinking a beer without a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. I'm just going to say it. If I have to get up and walk outside, I'm leaving. I'm not going to go back, and because what's going through my mind as a gambler, as a smoker, as a drinker is, well, you know what? I probably just lost money right there because I could have hit what I was betting on. You know, I might have gotten lucky, and that $50 I just threw out on the on a hard 12, a hot bet or whatever on a craps table. Somebody just rolled it, and I just lost it. Well, that's what goes through my mind as a gambler.
Well, Anthony, who was the council member who was leading this charge? Down through the fog without looking at all the facts. Which council member was the person leading this?
Well, it was actually co-sponsored, but the main council member pushing this was Latoya Cantrell. I think a lot of this has to do with her advancement. I think she's going to want to run for mayor pretty soon, so I think that had a lot to do with this.
Help us. I mean, the city of New Orleans has bad enough time right now doing basic, city services such as fixing potholes, changing a light bulb in a street light, or, protecting its citizens from being murdered. I mean, and then we're going to put Latoya Cantrell as a mayor.
Right. We're having a hard enough time policing the city. Now we're going to be policing people smoking and using electronic cigarettes.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get back from the break, and we'll do the weekly murder report and, see what we can figure out from the enforcement of New Orleans and their smoking ban versus their enforcement of real crimes.
If you like what you hear, or
if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you.
Michelle Seiler Tucker, the best-selling author of Sell Your Business for More Than It's Worth, has the only business brokerage firm that provides sellers the option to either sell and go or hold and grow, then sell and go. This allows her clients to receive 20 to 40% more than their businesses are worth. Michelle also closes 98% of all buy-sell transactions. For a free business evaluation, go to betterbusinessbrokers.com or call Michelle at 504-525-1717.
Spring flooring season is here at Lumber Liquidators. Get hardwood flooring looks on sale. This week, get 40% off hot gray styles with Delaware Bay driftwood laminate. Don't pay $2.49 at other stores. We've got it for $1 less. Or get the look of distressed hardwood with Mill River walnut. It's also 40% off. Plus, deals on 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, and more from 49 cents. And 18-month special financing. The look and style of hardwood is on sale now. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Napa know-how! Buying regular oil is like buying one-ply toilet paper. It gets the job done, but things can run a little rough. Luckily, Napa's got Mobil 1 Synthetic for just $5.99 a quart. At $5.99 for a quart of Mobil 1, you should save just enough change to spring for the good stuff. 2-ply. Oh yeah. Conquer the job with Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state local taxes or recycling fees at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 3/31/15.
This is retired Colonel Rob Maness, former U.S. Senate candidate and founder of GatorPAC. All across the country, citizens are rising up and speaking out, reminding elected officials that they work for us. GatorPAC gives liberty-minded citizens the teeth and the tools to hold their elected officials accountable. To help clean out the swamp, visit GatorPAC.com. Join me, Colonel Rob Maness, as we drain the swamp. Neither military information, military branch logos, nor photographs imply endorsement of GatorPAC by the Department of Defense or their particular military departments. Paid for by GatorPAC and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
All right, and we're back. Let's go ahead and do the murder report real quick, and then we'll get back to Anthony from Smoke Signals. I know I'm kind of doing it a little backwards than the way I normally do it, but that's the way it goes sometimes. All right, we got, from what I'm looking at, we have 3 homicides in the last week in the city of New Orleans, 2 in New Orleans East. What a surprise. And 1 in Central City. So, looks like just about your average week. But, remember, people, these are the people that you're putting in office.
Well, that's funny you say that because, they want to ban the cigarettes, but, you got young, underage teenagers. Basically, that's who the main people who are the perpetrators who are committing these violent crimes in the city. It's against the law for anyone under 21 to buy a handgun. So they're not buying their guns that they're shooting, killing people with.
No, they're using they're buying AR-15s and putting green tip M855 ammunition in them and converting them into pistols.
There's never been one report of any law enforcement officer that's ever been had his body armor penetrated by an M855 green tip ammo coming out of a handgun, or which would be an AR pistol. There's nothing. There's no empirical data on that. We're going to cover that later on the show. But
right.
Back to the wisdom of New Orleans. We've got Councilwoman LaToya Cantrell. She's our wise councilwoman. I'm gonna send this.
She's on the show's C list of the day.
C D. She's a D for sure. We're gonna see if we can get our producer Anthony to queue up a little link on her because we've got a couple of one of those wise sound bites. She's going to be up there with the Darwin Awards pretty soon, with Sheila Jackson Lee and Nancy Pelosi.
Well, this is what I'm kind of curious about. You can't stop murder or you can't curtail murder. Since we've been doing this show, which is we're in our 5th week of it, we've averaged between 3 and 5 murders a week that I've reported on here, and I do this every week. It's kind of my thing. You want to fine me for smoking a cigarette or vaping outside of a business? You can't control murder. My question is for Anthony. You allow vaping in your business, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that is a part of your business to where you allow people to test this product, right?
Yes.
Okay. In testing this product, are you going to have to make them go outside to vape?
We're not. We actually, through our fight with the city council and I hate to say just fighting because there was some working together. We got together with some of the council members' assistants beforehand and worked with them. But initially, the ban would have included our stores to not allow vaping inside. Well, like you said, that's a big part of our business, is that when people are coming out for the first time and they're trying these for the first time to find what they like. We have over 270 flavors available. You can't, I mean, other than just guessing, you know, the whole point of having a store instead of just doing this online is that you can try things out before you buy them. But the council did realize how stupid it would be for us to not be able to allow our customers to try our products, especially since the ordinance also allowed for smoking in specialty tobacco shops in the city. They seem to be very selective with which employees they want to protect and which they don't really care about.
You know, the thing too, I mean, Anthony, is with this ban, isn't it true that you have to be 25 feet from a business?
That was also something that was changed. It wasn't something that we particularly fought for. When I say we, I mean the Louisiana Association of Electronic Cigarette Retailers, LACER for short. So I don't have to say it every time. But that was something else that was fought for, because there were people that said, you know, if I'm in the French Quarter, if I'm in the CBD, I can't be 25 feet away from everybody's door. You know, even standing in the middle of the street. There was one business owner who has a bar on Decatur. He said he'd have to walk all the way across Esplanade before he was clear of 25 feet of every door in his area.
Yeah, I mean, Bourbon Street, if you're walking even down the middle of the street, you're within that 25-foot zone.
Easily.
Yeah. Do you think that New Orleans is ever going to be able to get its act together? I mean, we've gone from bad to worse, in my opinion, by looking at things like, you know, I mean, we've had Mayor Moon Landrieu, Bartholomew, Mitch Landrieu, and Mark Morial.
C. Ray Nagin and Mark Morial, right?
Oh, God.
Those were some tough ones.
I mean, everybody that we've had has made New Orleans go from bad to worse. And our state itself has been suffering because New Orleans is like the diamond in the rough for the entire state. And the more that we have bad government in New Orleans, the worse our whole state gets.
All right, well, let's I think we have a call. Do we have time to take it? Okay, caller, we'll catch you after the break. But I've got some audio from LaToya Cantrell that we're going to queue up, and y'all want to call in 504-556-9696, Liberty with a Southern accent. Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern accent.
If you like what you hear,
Or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
Liberty with a Southern accent would like for you to check out Kelly Firearms, veteran-owned, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at the First Mississippi exit on I-59 North. They got guns, ammo, custom-built AR-15s, tactical gear, and anything else you need to have a good day at the range. Give them a call at 520-668-3910 or find them at facebook.com/Kelly Firearms.
Are you bored going to the same shooting range? Or just want to try something new? Here at Mississippi Combat Training Academy, we offer tactical training, shooting gym, also zombie survival school, veteran owned. Just contact Mike at 228-365-0022 or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MCTA Range. Located in the buffer zone on Texas Flat Road, Hancock County, Mississippi. Convenient to New Orleans, Slidell, and Mississippi Gulf Coast.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Tom Peace. Corruption charges reportedly being prepared against New Jersey Democrat Senator Robert Menendez. Menendez allegedly using his office to promote the business of a donor in exchange for gifts. The senator's office denying anything illegal or inappropriate happened. New developments in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. The Blaze Radio's Kay Long reports.
A memo coming to light from Clinton when she's Secretary of State, warning employees to only use official, not personal emails for State Department business. This while she's evidently doing this herself. Meanwhile, a hacker telling Fox News Clinton having many private email addresses. All this while the State Department begins the task of looking through 55,000 Clinton emails.
We are doing a review of her emails for public release, as she asked us to do on Wednesday evening in the tweet I'm sure you all have now seen.
State Department spokesperson Marie Harf. Meanwhile, overseas, Secretary of State John Kerry dismissive of a reporter asking a question about all those emails.
I think we have all the ones that are state.gov, which are appropriately the ones in the purview of the department. But let me check on that when I actually have time to pay attention to such an important issue when I get home.
President Obama heading south to mark his civil rights anniversary. The Blaze Radio's Chris Barnes with the details from Washington.
There is work to be done right now.
President Obama speaking on race relations in America, pointing to the Justice Department report that claims systematic racial bias by Ferguson, Missouri's police and courts against blacks.
It is a glorious task that we are given to continually try to improve this great country of ours. And we shouldn't shy away from that work, and we shouldn't be complacent about it.
Speaking on the Tom Joyner radio show, Obama and the First Family will be in Selma, Alabama this weekend to help commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery civil rights marches. In Washington, I'm Chris Barnes, The Blaze News.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network. Truth lives here.
This is Jeff Cruier with my commentary of the day. Heaven help us. Now a three-way union of gay men have been, quote, married in Thailand. But it's not the world's first three-way, because 3 lesbian women were married in Massachusetts in 2013. The Thai men said that the acceptance of same-sex marriage paved the way for their threesome to be recognized by the Buddhist Church. In this country, same-sex marriage is now legal in 37 states, although voters in only a handful have sanctioned it. So once marriage is no longer a union of one man and one woman to propagate the species, it becomes all about, quote, love. Then where does it end? Family members, pets. What's to stop a foursome from getting married next? Marriage has served humanity for a millennium. The traditional definition has worked well. As we see what's going on in Thailand and Massachusetts, this new definition of marriage is certainly weirder, but it's definitely not better. More info on this and the other hot topics of the day, check out ringsidepolitics.com.
Hi, this is Jim Spyro. Join me every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. here on WGSO as we cover all the hot issues of the day. Obama, Harry Reid, the new Republican majority, the dysfunction in Congress, surveillance by the NSA, Iran, Afghanistan, all as we prepare for the presidential election in 2016. Listen in to our special guests from both sides of the aisle as we debate experts on issues relating to health care, the budget, national defense, and the U.S. Constitution. We never pull any punches, and of course, we take your calls throughout the hour, so make it a point to join us each and every Wednesday, 5 to 6 here on WGSO. See you then.
Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen and George Peterson. We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
All right. And we're back. We have a little bit of audio from LaToya Cantrell. And Anthony, please if you don't mind. Cue it up. We have, like I said, 3 people named Anthony here.
When I saw Mr. Mervin, it really brought it home for me. A dealer in our casino, 15 years, non-smoker, lung cancer. You know, and so we have people who are working in those environments right now that we can now say that they are worthy, they matter, and city government has just demonstrated that by the actions of this council today.
All right, go ahead. And George, I'll let you take this one, and you can get Anthony's opinion on it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, really, you know, is there any empirical data that shows that the you know, a person who's a dealer or a musician in a club, you know, is subjected to, you know, catching cancer from secondhand smoke? I mean, how can, you know, there's so many different ways of catching lung cancer. It's not just from smoke. You know, there's other factors involved with cancer cells in the body. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, there is plenty of data that secondhand smoke is not good for you. It's not good to be around. I mean, when I hear about studies that say, oh, this is proven to cause cancer, I always question that, because what you end up with is studies that's what they were trying to prove. So you have rats that are eating, you know, pounds of saccharin a day and, you know, all these different things. But like you said, there are definitely other factors that go into it. I have an uncle that died of lung cancer, never was a smoker, didn't really frequent any smoky establishments. It just happens.
So, I mean, I kind of feel like it was a real knee-jerk reaction, and it goes back to, like, what was the former mayor of New York? You know, Bloomberg. He banned salt on.
Oh, you mean Nanny Bloomberg?
Nanny Bloomberg,
America's babysitter, America's wet nurse, so to speak.
Right, we're not, you know, smart enough or good enough or intelligent enough to moderate our sodium intake and our big gulps.
Don't you dare buy that drink. That's more than 16 ounces. I'm going to fine you.
I mean, that's our founding fathers are turning over in the grave, looking at how much control our government has taken over Americans' lives. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yep. Can we take a quick call real quick? We have Phil the Patriot on the line.
Hey, how you doing tonight? Great show as always. Listen up,
Thanks, Phil.
One of my favorite subjects, crime. You know something, brothers and sisters? There is something you can do about crime. I want you to open up your checkbook or your pocketbook right now and donate some money to Crime Stoppers. You can also be the eyes and the ears of the police. You can help them with good tips. You can be part of an offense. Don't wait for those people to come after you. I've been shot at twice. 4 years ago, I was nearly murdered by a little 16 or 17-year-old young black punk. And in 1982, the same thing happened to me. I was nearly murdered by a young man, probably 16 or 17 years of age. I'm 61 years of age, and I'm not going down without a fight. This is where I live. I live in the United States of America. I live in New Orleans, Louisiana. I live in Jefferson Parish. I'm not going to sit here and wait for those people to come after me. I'm going to help the police as much as I possibly can. I want to see Newell Norman run for governor, and I want to see Vladimir Putin, get put down. And I would love to see.
Well, wait a minute, Doug. Wait a minute. Hey, Phil. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I was reading somebody else's name here, and I'm trying to talk to you, Phil. Newell Norman is against open carry. I want to address this real quick. Newell Norman is against open carry. How does that help people stay safe? And you want him to run for governor? I've got to ask you that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. I'm glad you're aware of it, because knowledge is power. Well, if that's true, Newell Norman better stop in his tracks right there and be open carry. Because let me tell you what, it's going to get a whole lot worse. And he better start looking at the preventive citizens of this area as allies, not enemies. I don't believe in people being disarmed. I think people should be armed to the teeth, and they should be going to the ranges and learn how to shoot. Because I can tell you right now, both of those little punks, if they knew how to shoot, I wouldn't be talking to y'all right now. And you know something, brothers and sisters? I know how to use several different kinds of firearms, and I even have my own body armor. I am not waiting for them to come after me. I am not waiting. I am going to help the police as much as I possibly can. And I can tell you one more thing. If anybody ever tries to rob me or hurt me or my family, I'm going to execute them right on the spot. I don't care.
All right. Thank you for your call, Phil. Thank you for your call, Phil. I appreciate it, buddy.
No, but Phil's right. When seconds count, the police are always minutes away. And in New Orleans, it could be hours or days. But because they have better things to do.
All right. Well, we've got one more call we're going to take real quick, and he's another e-cig enthusiast and a friend of Anthony here from Smoke Signals. We'll go ahead and take Doug in Slidell.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you on this lovely evening? Bullhorn George.
Hey, Doug.
I'm pretty good,
Anthony
Doug.
Allen.
Hey, buddy.
My friend, the No Smoke King, is on the air. How you doing, Anthony?
Doing good, Doug.
I was listening to one of the video podcasts earlier this week. It looked like Chris was on one of the shows that was talking about it. And am I right? Jefferson Parish is about to get into some smoking bans too.
Well, we're actually already working with Jefferson Parish, and Chris that he's talking about is Chris Flowers, the president of LACER, the organization I'm part of. We've met with the staff for some of the parish president's staff. We're also working to get some meetings set up with the Jefferson Parish Council to kind of get this taken care of before it happens. Unfortunately, in New Orleans, we were really reactive to the whole thing, and we're trying to really be proactive here and in other parts of the state.
Right, you didn't have much time with the New Orleans part. Chris also mentioned that y'all are going to be opening LACER to non-vendors also.
Yeah, that looks like it's part of the plan. That's something that we're going to be getting into going forward. We actually probably will be starting to vote on that this weekend. We have a meeting on Sunday, and hopefully we have some more information after that. But yeah, we're looking at different levels of membership, whether you're a vendor or a consumer or just an electronic cigarette advocate.
Yeah, terrific. Well, I'm in. I've got you back. So right there with you in the fight, my friend.
All right, well, good stuff. Thanks, Doug.
And Doug, thanks for putting me in contact with Anthony over at Smoke Signals and making this show happen and getting the word out on exactly what's going on here.
So, Anthony, from Smoke Signals, where exactly is your show? I mean, your store. Where are you located at?
Our store here in New Orleans is at 8135 Oleander, basically right off of Earhart and Carrollton. We have location here, Baton Rouge, Slidell, and also Hammond.
Well, that's great. So you have 3 stores across the state. I think that it's a great opportunity because vaping, doesn't it isn't that more healthier? Isn't that a lot more healthier than smoking a cigarette or a cigar?
Well, the FDA won't let me answer that the way I'd like to. What I can say is that I feel much better than I did when I smoked cigarettes. I was mentioning when we were off air a little while ago that I didn't realize how bad I felt until I quit smoking cigarettes and switched to vaping. I can breathe better. I'm not winded walking up a flight of stairs. There's all these things that I've seen that seem to be improvements to my personal health that all I can really relate it to is not smoking anymore. And I've heard the same stories from lots of people who have made the switch. But like I said, the FDA won't let me tell you that it's a healthier option.
But it's not illegal.
No,
it's not illegal in New Orleans.
Well, wait a minute. Here's my question for you. Why can the FDA, too many F's there, ATF, FBI, FDA, why can they stop you from saying that this is better than smoking?
Well, the FDA handles all health-related content in the United States. They regulate the pharmaceutical companies.
But do they regulate free speech?
They don't, but basically what happens is then I've made claims that are not substantiated or tested by the FDA, and then there comes a problem.
You can't just state your opinion?
Well, that's kind of what my personal story is about, is saying my personal experience with it is instead of what it'll do for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are living in the era of George Orwell in 1984.
Absolutely.
This country has taken a turn for the worse, and we're going to have to talk a little bit about that, as we get ready to wrap up the show a little bit later about some of the things that have happened in the week in review. But I'm just sick to death about where our country is, and we look to our representatives, whether it's at a parish council, a city council, a state legislature, or in the Congress, and all of them are letting us down. I mean, I just can't believe it, where our country is, and it's because of the government, and this is the government that we've elected, people. I mean, we've got 20% or less turning out to go vote to elect these people, and this is the government that we got because of that. I mean, we got to quit being complacent, and we got to get out there and we have to do something about it.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about what you're going to do about it. Liberty with a Southern accent. Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern accent.
If you like what you hear,
or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Coach Alan DeRitter reminding you to get your kicks on the Russell Marina Grills Monday Night Football Show, Monday nights at 7 p.m. on WGSO.
New Orleans who are craving a fabulous, tasty breakfast or brunch for a reasonable price need look no further than another Broken Egg Cafe, founded in Old Mandeville, Louisiana. 2 locations in New Orleans, in the heart of Lakeview at 607 Harrison Avenue, the other in the heart of Uptown at 2917 Magazine Street. The menu is a unique blend of traditional breakfast and brunch dishes, which are sure to satisfy any breakfast lover's taste buds. Another Broken Egg Cafe is a casual restaurant with an eloquent flair and extraordinary breakfast, sandwiches, and salads. Bon appetit.
This is William Wallace. Join me Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. here on WGSO 990 AM for my town hall. Hear what I have to say and let your voice be heard.
Hey, New Orleans, this is Sue May with the Cannon Hospice Health Hour. Join us to get the latest and most up-to-date health information here on WGSO.
Saturdays at 12 noon.
This is retired Colonel Rob Maness, former U.S. Senate candidate and founder of GatorPack. All across the country, citizens are rising up and speaking out, reminding elected officials that they work for us. GatorPack gives liberty-minded citizens the teeth and the tools to hold their elected officials accountable. To help clean out the swamp, visit GatorPack.com. Join me, Colonel Rob Maness, as we drain the swamp. Neither military information, military branch logos, nor photographs imply endorsement of GatorPack by the Department of Defense or their particular military departments. Paid for by GatorPack and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Looking for the best in organic gardening supplies? Shop Laughing Buddha Nursery. Hi, this is Grant Estrad, owner of Laughing Buddha Nursery. For 10 years, we've been carrying organic gardening supplies, non-GMO seeds, hydroponics, plant lighting, and red wiggler compost worms. And now we even offer beer brewing supplies. Visit Laughing Buddha Nursery at 4516 Clearview Parkway in Metairie, or call 887-4336. And visit us on the web at laughingbuddhanursery.com.
Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen
and George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
All right, well, let's take a call real quick. We got Louie in Metairie. Go ahead.
Hey, good evening, Doll.
Good evening.
I just want to put my 2 cents in on that smoking debate and about changing the laws and all that stuff. You can tell from my voice it's a little bit scratchy, and that's because I suffer from chronic sinusitis, which gives me a nasal drainage. eventually that'll probably turn to cancer or whatever, but I'm not worried about that till down the line. And so when I walk around smoke or get into a lot of smoke, it does affect me. And sometimes seriously, sometimes it's not. But really what gets me sick more than walking in somebody else's smoke is somebody telling somebody they don't have the right to do something that the Constitution says they can. I stand more by the Constitution than I'm worried about my health with the cigarette smoke.
Okay, let me ask you this, and then I'm going to let Anthony jump in here. If smoking bothers you, does vaping bother you?
I don't know. I haven't really been around anybody with vaping and everything yet. But, I have the freedom to get up and walk out or not visit a place just like they got the freedom to smoke.
Makes perfect sense to me, sir.
The restaurant owner or whatever's option as to what he wants for his place of business. And then the people that visit it can choose themselves.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, sir.
I don't know why it would be any other way, but we're talking about a legal item that's used by adults in this country, and they're talking about having people not use these legal products in adult places, which...
The reason we got that is because we have an attitude that the federal government is dominant, the federal government is supreme, and that is not what our founding fathers intended. The supreme law of the land is the Constitution, not the federal government.
Absolutely.
The Constitution that is supreme, not the federal government. The federal government was derived from state governments. It was the states that band together to form the federal government. So that'd be like the kids taking over the parents. No, it wasn't designed that way.
No, it wasn't. And Louis is one of my friends from the Constitution Boot Camp. We facilitate a Constitution Boot Camp where we study the Constitution every second Thursday of the month over at the Common Grounds in Gretna. And we're in our second year doing this, and Louis is one of our first the member of our first group, and I'll tell you, we've all learned a lot studying the Constitution, not only from the reading the actual document, but from each other as well.
And we're also getting ready to get onto the Federalist Papers, which the Hillsdale College just has another free online course with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's real exciting. We're going to work to bring back our country, and there's a lot that we have to do. We're going to do our weekend review, and there's some things that we're going to talk about, before we wrap up the show. But thank you for calling, Louie.
Well, I got one more point. The thing I want the non-smokers who are complaining and think we need laws on it, once you win and get your law to keep somebody from smoking, what one thing you got that you think somebody else may get a law to take away from you?
Absolutely.
If we can take away a law from somebody else can turn around and take away a law from you.
Absolutely. And this is just to mention something real quick while we're talking about this. You got to remember the Eric Gardner case. He was killed because of cigarettes. Now, y'all think about that for a while.
No, actually, he was killed because of taxes.
No, yes, but because of cigarettes. It was illegal for him to sell Lucy cigarettes. That's why he got killed. So when you pass a bad law...
When they did the autopsy and did everything else, they didn't even find a single cigarette on him, nor did he have any money on him. So the thing about him selling Lucy cigarettes was a totally made-up story anyway.
But the point I'm trying to make is a bad law cost that man his life.
Amen.
That's right. Well, speaking of laws, let's go ahead. We've got some things. Thank you, Louie, again. Thanks for calling in. We've got some things that we got to look at here. Do you have that queued up about the thing from Elijah Cummings?
About 10 seconds it will be.
Because their emails have been falling out of the sky this week. It seems that the IRS was able to find tens of thousands of emails from Lois Lerner, and now we find out that Hillary Clinton, our former Secretary of State, who basically
wait a minute.
What difference does it make?
Wait a minute. I got a question for you. Are you going to vote for her when she runs for president? Even if she flips over to the Republican Party? I have to ask because I know you're a Republican.
I may be a Republican, but I'm an American first, and I put principles above party. But let me tell you,
But I was just wondering because we have
this. We got this queued up. Catherine Engelbrecht, who is the founder of True the Vote, testified before Congress, and she was targeted by the FBI, the IRS, the ATF, and OSHA after she tried to file a tax-exempt status for her voters' rights group. And it comes out now that we're starting to find all these trickling emails that, Secretary of State Clinton had on private. She had government emails on a private server in her house that was registered to a fictitious name. She was conducting government business. Do we have that queued up? Let's listen to what happened the other night on.
Made what's being called a very unusual move. She filed a formal ethics complaint against Congressman Elijah Cummings. Now, she's accused him of intimidation. He has denied any wrongdoing. The Kelly file reached out to the congressman for further comment, but his office has not yet gotten back to us. Catherine Engelbrecht joins me now. Catherine, great to see you again. So let's advance the story by taking it to the ethics complaint against the congressman. Why bring him into it, specifically?
He's the ranking minority member of that committee, and frankly, Megan, the thought of having to sit before my accuser and be silent in the face of what he did, it was unconscionable.
What did he do?
And so, well, he filed over a period of months beginning in October of 2012. He filed 3 letters that he sent to me asserting that he was opening an investigation. He sent this on House Oversight and Government Reform letterhead. But the funny thing is, the way I found out about it was from an LA Times reporter who called for comment after.
So, I mean, the more emails, that Elijah Cummings was complicit in the IRS scandal targeting conservatives back in at the last election cycle. In 2010. I mean, this is just, it's unfathomable. Another congressman, was involved in some other crap, and it's just ridiculous. So look, we've got some other things we got to cover next week. We're going to do, Anthony. We got to talk about the vote that happened this week with the GOP. That they.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. Hang on, I got a bone to pick with you about that, Mr. Republican.
We only have a few minutes.
That's okay. That's fine.
The Republicans
that's
in
fine.
Congress. That's right. The Republicans.
What are you doing about these Republicans that are not standing up as a RSCC member?
Well, that's next week. We're going to talk about the RSCC. That's the Republican Party of Louisiana and the State Central Committee, and we're going to take a look at what's been going on with these members of Congress who consistently vote against the American people.
All right, so y'all listen in and listen to me grill George about what he's doing about these Republicans that are not standing up for the laws in this country and are caving to Obama.
Believe me, we're mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore.
There you go. All right, thank y'all for listening, and we got George. He's remoting in from Alabama, and we got Anthony in here, and thank y'all for listening. Liberty with a Southern accent. Thank you for listening to Liberty with a Southern accent.
If you like what you hear,
or if you would like to support the show,
give us a call.
Anthony at 504-402-2333.
George Peterson, you can give me a call at 504-415-1467.
Also, if you would like to participate in the show, please give us a call at 504-556-9696.
Call us, 504-556-9696.
Thank you. Liberty with a Southern accent. Your host, Anthony Allen.
And George Peterson.
We'd like to thank our good friend Jay Cuvion over at Crescent City Electronics for sponsoring our show. A new sound for a new year. Check out Crescent City Electronics for all your home audio needs. Crescent City Electronics carries all high-end brands, or he will install your own. Free estimates. Crescent City Electronics. You can find them on the web at ccedirect.com.
Olivia Catastrophe. Confused by letters and distracted by everything is a very short novel written by a 13-year-old dyslexic child. If you or someone you know suffers with learning disabilities, this is an uplifting and fun book. That's Olivia, Catastrophe, spelt with a K, K-A-T-A-S-T-R-A-P-H-Y. Confused by letters and distracted by everything. It's also available on Barnes & Noble, on Lulu.com, and Amazon.com.
Jiggers Bar and Grill at 1645 Vets near Bonneville has plenty of convenient parking and is a great place for lunch. Sandwiches, burgers, wraps, salads, quesadillas, all delicious. There's a big screen TV to watch the sporting events, and happy hour lasts from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Great dinner specials under $11, and if you have late night munchies, Jiggers is a place to go. You can dine in or order at 828-3555. See you soon at Jiggers.
This is Michael Savage. Join me in the Savage Nation, weeknights 9 p.m. to midnight, right here on 990 AM WGSO in New Orleans. Give me 15 minutes and I'll give you the real America.
Savage. The Justice Department says New Jersey Democrat Senator Robert Menendez allegedly promotes the business interests of a friend and donor in exchange for gifts. Menendez denying any wrongdoing.
I have always conducted myself appropriately and in accordance with the law.
Menendez, a former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. New developments in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. The Blaze Radio's Kay Long reports.
The State Department going through volumes of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's emails. Spokesperson Marie Harf.
We are doing a review of her emails for public release, as she asked us to do on Wednesday evening in the tweet I'm sure you all have now seen.
Clinton under fire since it comes to light she uses a personal email account for State Department